What's up, everybody? I want to tell you about Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's one of the easiest ways to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting Anchor on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. So download Anchor, the app, or go to anchor.fm to get started. And I'm a veteran, so let's hear some more military cadences. What's up, family? So, as usual, the news is breaking and it's hot, sizzling. What news is that, you ask? Well, Donald Trump is running for president again. Are you shocked or not? Let's go ahead and drum up that video because I just love it. I know Trump is very hilarious to me, but let me play it.
Great and glorious again, in order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States. So many incredible friends and family here tonight. It's such a beautiful thing. Some people say, how do you speak before so many people all the time? When there's love in the room, it's really easy. If you want to know that,
Trump is so funny to me. I know a lot of people find him repulsive, but the man's ego is so amazing that he can be indicted and facing all kind of charges, and he's still in the best mood ever. It's just, I love it. It's just like, So here's another story. So Denise Richards, she got shot at today. And the thing is, Denise Richards, if you don't know, she's like Charlie Sheen's ex-wife. She's also been on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And you see these people. So she got shot at in a road rage accident. And so you never know if this stuff is for a show or not, because she was heading to a TV studio. Nobody was injured or nothing, but yeah. The thing that I find the most interesting about this story, though, is these comments here. So let me bring this up because I saw it earlier unless they were. All right. So someone said, and this is the adventures of Ben Binks on Twitter. He said, glad they're okay, but why are you burying the Paul Pelosi story? So, the whole Nancy Pelosi, Paul Pelosi story about when he was attacked. So here's the article, and this is on Fox News, of course. NBC News' mom as Miguel Almaguer hasn't appeared on air since the Paul Pelosi report was mysteriously retracted. NBC News national correspondent Miguel hasn't appeared on network in 11 days since an explosive report on the Paul Pelosi attack was retracted, but he and NBC have remained silent since scrubbing of this report, suggesting the House Speaker's husband may not have been in danger when the police arrived. The ordeal has puzzled NBC News insiders, with some believing the report was squashed because it went against the mainstream narrative narrative. A former senior NBC News executive who worked with Miguel believes the network needs to explain what's going on. NBC News must be more transparent with its viewers about this error. Who wrote Miguel's script? Who approved the script? Are he and the producer suspended during an internal investigation? NBC's silence on this matter speaks volumes. NBC owes its audience to be truthful and not cover this up, the former executive added. And so, if you guys don't remember, even when that happened, even Elon tweeted out allegedly that Paul Pelosi was in some kind of tryst with his attacker. I don't know, man. I do know I tried to put that on my social media and they banned it. So that tells me there that somebody is trying to suppress this story. We'll see if it gets banned on here. In other news, the Church of the Latter-day Saints is backing a proposed federal legislation to safeguard same-sex marriage. So Mormon Church is coming out in support of same-sex marriage. The judge at the Los Angeles trial of Harvey Weinstein dropped 4 of the 11 sexual crimes against the movie mogul on Tuesday after prosecutors said they would not proceed with the counts involving one of his accusers. So, did he pay that a person off or what? A teenage Paralympic swimmer accuses world record-holding teammate of sexual abuse. The swimmer, who has autism and an intellectual disability, alleges physical and sexual verbal abuse in a lawsuit that also accuses Olympic supporting officials of covering it up. The Paralympian swimmer has accused a former teammate of physical and verbal and sexual abuse, including last year's Paralympic Games in Tokyo. In the suit filed Friday in the U.S. District Court of Colorado, the swimmer, 19, who has autism and an intellectual disability, says he was violently and repeatedly sexually assaulted and harassed by a teammate who has cerebral palsy. The swimmer defied all odds to become a world record class athlete, had his life utterly shattered by the teammate who holds multiple goals and world records, the lawsuit says. He no longer feels safe training at the Olympic Training Center or attending Olympic events. He left behind his dream, which he dedicated his entire life to, the one and only environments where he felt appreciated and accepted. The accused teammate did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The lawsuit accuses the U.S. Paralympic Committee and U.S. Center for a Safe Sport, a nonprofit group tasked with responding to preventing sexual misconduct and abuse, of covering up alleged abuse and failing to protect the athlete. The lawsuit says the organizations were aware of previous allegations against the teammate and failed to act because of the teammate's competitive success. So that is very interesting and something that you don't hear on national news. The shooting yesterday in the University of Virginia says it knew the triple murder suspect had been convicted of weapons charges weeks before his past weekend carnage and did not start disciplinary process against him. Charlottesville, Virginia, the University of Virginia admitted Tuesday it knew of suspect Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. had been convicted of weapons charge week before this weekend's carnage and did not start a disciplinary process against him, but it was unclear whether that understanding would have been enough for the elite Charlottesville school to take timely, serious action against Jones. The student accused of gunning down 3 football players. The school has been reviewing a potential hazing issue when the Office of Student Affairs heard from the student that Mr. Jones made a comment to him about possessing a gun. The university said in a statement, reporting parties did not see Mr. Jones in possession of the gun. The comment about owning the gun was not made in conjunction with the threat. As the probe moved forward, it was learned that Mr. Jones previously had been convicted of a misdemeanor for concealed weapons violation in 2021. The university spokesman Brian Coy said it was around mid-September that the school uncovered the Jones gun incident, that he failed to disclose the conviction to the university, which is a requirement by the university policy. The Office of Affairs moved October 27 to escalate his case to disciplinary action, the statement said, but officials said they realized only after Sunday's shooting that the report of his conviction was never relayed to the university judiciary committee. Yeah, that's bad. That is not good. That is not good. Um, it was just all kind of news going on. The federal judge rules that U.S. government can no longer use a COVID-era policy that allowed authorities to severely limit asylum seekers from crossing the border. NBC News is projecting that Republicans are within 2 seats of taking control of the House. Meanwhile, former President Trump is like he is running. An upstate New York officer fatally shot a 27-year-old woman before turning the gun on herself and taking her own life. Wow. With that, an upstate off-duty New York police officer fatally shot a 27-year-old woman before she turned the gun on herself. Tiffany Gaston, 29, an officer of the Green Police, shot 2 women at her Rochester home before she died by suicide. Greece is the suburb of Rochester. Gaston, who had been an officer in Greece since 2018, was off-duty at the time. Rochester sent a statement. They responded to a domestic-related altercation around 7:20. Responding officers found all 3 women inside with gunshot wounds, according to the state attorney. Wow. Rest in peace to those people. The news is just too much today, y'all. Let me start playing these stories. So I'm going to bring up the story from the victim, the suspect with the Charlottesville shooting charges, and see what his dad had to say about that. Let's go.
It's him. I still can't believe it now.
The last time Christopher Darnell Jones Sr. spoke with his son was about a month ago.
And he came to the house and he did his laundry. And we sat and talked, and he was doing real well.
That's why he's heartbroken and confused about the accusations against his son.
I don't know what happened between then and now to cause this to happen.
Jones Sr. says the 22-year-old didn't begin living with him and his grandmother until around his high school years.
He got into school, got on the football team at Petersburg High, and excelled. He excelled in everything. He was everybody's friend. Everybody loved Chris, especially when he flashed his teeth, he smiled.
But when they last spoke, Jones Sr. admits something was off about his son.
He had some problems. When the last time I talked to him, he said some people was picking on him or whatever. He didn't know how to handle it. I just told him, no, just go to school. Don't pay him no mind. Do what you got to do. He was real paranoid when I talked to him about something. He wouldn't tell me everything.
According to police, the shooting happened Sunday night at a parking garage on UVA grounds, where Jones opened fire on a bus filled with UVA football players, killing 3 of them and injuring 2 others. At some point after that, Jones drove to eastern Henrico, not far from his mother's home. At one point, U.S. Marshals swarmed her home, but the 22-year-old wasn't there. He was ultimately arrested by Henrico police on Acton Street and Edgelawn Street, about 5 minutes away. Now the only question on his father's mind:
what happened? Why did it have to get this far? He could have called me.
And as he and his family try to process this great tragedy, his heart goes out to the families of the victims.
I don't know what to say, except I'm sorry on his behalf, and I apologize. He's not a bad kid. He really isn't. I just don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened to cause all of this.
It's unfortunate all around, and I couldn't imagine being a parent and just when your kid snaps like that. I mean, it's sad. Let's go to our next one.
I used to go around asking men for advice about getting married, and now that I'm 4 years in, I realize that a lot of these men didn't like their wives. After I posted that video, this comment read, "Can you talk more about liking your wife?" So many men seem to generally dislike and seem to be annoyed by women. They love but don't like. What I've both seen and learned as I've grown is that men will marry women who serve them even if they don't like them. That's how patriarchy conditions them. For example, if you ask a cis man what he likes about his partner, he'll soon begin listing the ways in which she serves him. You know what I mean? Like, I think society conditions men to not like women. Like, you love them, you feel a sense of duty towards them, you get one and you take care of them because that's what men do, we're taught. And you're hearing your whole life from church, the men in your life, the media, that women talk too much, they don't listen, they're disagreeable, they're emotional. Cis men tend to like other men in non-romantic ways. They like being around their guys and spending time with them, and sometimes these men talk to each other about how much they don't like their wives. But men will marry women who serve them. who are submissive and obedient and who know their place. Because as I've said, in the eyes of patriarchy, there can be no relationship without control. All liking someone as is feeling attraction towards them or taking pleasure in them, delighting in them. Like I like my wife. I like talking to her and being around her. Even if we're not doing stuff together, I feel better knowing that we're occupying the same space. I like her laugh and the way she speaks. Sometimes I just like watching her exist. Something about it fills me up, inspires me, reminds me. Like she's my person, my favorite person. Seeing her makes me feel happy and safe. Yes, we're people that argue. Sometimes we annoy each other. But because we like each other, it doesn't take long for either of us to begin a resolution. Because who wants to not be talking to someone they actually like for the sake of pride? Thank you for watching, and like and follow for more content.
So this is very true, liking your spouse. That's why you can't get in relationship with people that you really don't like. I know that society says if you have a baby, but listen, I've been divorced before, and those marriages were based off of duty to how it looks to society. We were not equally matched, and so yeah, you need to like the person you're married to, because you guys you won't get along, but you should be at most peace with that person. I know for me, if I'm tired and I can't sleep, just having my husband next to me, it just makes me sleepy instantly, and vice versa. And so that's what that means when it says be his peace, be her peace. Like, it's nothing too perfect, but that person should calm you. Let's go to our next story.
What's a mistake you see me make repeatedly, and why do you think I do?
Oh, man, that's easy.
Yeah, what?
You forgive too much, too easy, too fast.
Oh.
Because, and the reason why I say it is because it's always like you forgive these certain people, and they just do the same thing again.
Yeah, but I think that's one thing about me that's not going to change.
No, it's not. I'm going to continue to say it, too.
I know.
But
God bless a forgiving spirit. Listen, I struggle with this myself, especially when it comes to family, because, life is so short, and sometimes you wonder, are the grudges you're holding, are they worth not talking to your family for? And, the healing, everybody says heal, 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 heal. But if you've actually been through actual trauma and you go around sad people that cause you hurt, even though you forgive them, some of the things and some of their actions just trigger you back and you remember everything. And for me, I'm learning that distance is best. I love all my family, but some of them are triggering for me, and yes, I forgive them, but I just would rather be at peace, but to the person that can forgive constantly, I commend you, because I am not Jesus. I strive to be like him, but I'm not. Let's get to our next one.
But he had smoke from Meg, bro.
Yeah.
And here's my problem, right?
Yes.
Pusha T exposed your baby. He exposed your baby mama. He ruined your Adidas deal. He put you on the cover with blackface, bro. He exposed you wearing blackface. All of that.
The grassy.
Right? Yeah. And you diss Meg. There's so many people you had smoke for that you legitimately could have smoke for. Diddy smacked the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Confirmed by Kanye, Diddy smacked the shit out of you. You had no bars for Diddy.
And they're speaking on Drake and Drake's new album where he's making fun of a woman. And, this is where rap music remains immature. And Taylor Swift songs, because she talks about all her breakups. But that sells, that sells. And I think, it's sad, it's weak, but that sells when you put down women, when you put down men, when you put down race. That's what sells. And, you prey on the weak that you perceive to be weak. So definitely agree. Let's go to our next one.
If I know I'm going through some shit and I don't want to hear about somebody's problems, I am not going to go around my friend that tells me about every single thing he deals with. Respectfully, I love you and all of that, but I don't have that energy to give. So for me, I'm in a state where my self-development is very much focused on not pleasing people, making sure I understand the boundaries that need to be set, and then making sure I hold people to those boundaries. For someone who's a people pleaser, I promise you work on these things.
That kind of goes back to what I was just saying. I also suffer from people pleasing, and it is a dangerous, tiring world to live in. So I understand that all day, man. Let's get into our last one. Should be about sex. That should lift our spirits. Let's see.
Surrounding lesbians who like to get strapped is wild, and we gonna talk about it. And disclaimer, this is a grown folks conversation. Mom, I know you follow me, but please do not watch this. If I hear one more motherfucker insist that it's somehow a contradiction for a woman to both be a lesbian and to enjoy being strapped, I'm gonna go shit in the middle of the street. And I expect the ignorance from straight people because they're ignorant about a lot of things regarding sexuality, but the call be coming from inside the house too. I see plenty of lesbians talking about how real lesbians, whatever the fuck that means, should not enjoy being strapped. And it's sad that this has to be explained in 2022 on Halle Bailey's internet, but here goes. Attraction matters. Asking someone how they're a lesbian if they enjoy being strapped is the logical equivalent of asking somebody how they're not pansexual if they like to kiss. Because, I mean, every gender has lips. So speaking for myself, I don't mind the occasional poke. I just wouldn't want it from a man. Because yes, I care about the motion in the ocean, but it also matters who's driving the boat. And luckily, women have been finding ways to accomplish this for a very, very, very long time. And I know some lesbian is going to hit me with, oh, me and my girl just don't need it. I don't ever want the strap. And that's great for you, Miss Mamas. But see me? Oh, I'm going to turn out.
This is an interesting, because I'm not a lesbian, but it is interesting that you guys, I get it, but I don't, but thank you for explaining this, that you don't like men, but you like the strap. I'm not going to rate on that, but okay. I guess that's like men who are like the vagina, but they like their butts licked. I don't know. Sex is a tricky world, but hey, do what makes you feel good. That's what I say. And I'm glad we're ending on this note. Do what makes you feel good, guys. Efforts for Family is signing out. You guys be safe out there. And I'm sure tomorrow with Trump running, there's going to be so much news. So you guys have a wonderful night.